So, welcome, Jarnell and Howard. Thank you so much for coming and interviewing with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me.
So, we will just jump right in with our first question here, which is so, your book, Wings to Fly, has an amazing message and does a great job of speaking to children who may or may not be confident in themselves. What inspired you to write the book?
Yeah, I will go ahead and answer since Howard wants me to. I feel as if, Howard has all the experience with writing, and me at that particular moment in my life had just gotten an injury with the Denver Nuggets. And I had already played 3 years of professional ball, NBA ball to be specific, and I got in a standpoint in my life where I was going through an identity crisis, but at the same time I was writing blogs, and it was more like this natural, 10 tips to success, or 10 ways athletes can help the world. Small. I One blog ended up getting 100,000 views.
Wow.
It was on my birthday, a painstaking transformation to success, and that was all about this self identity crisis that has fueled me to meet such amazing producers and writers like Howard. And he's also he has a story of himself, but he's really done just a bomb job of building a health and wellness center for uh, athletes and anyone who's dealing with what I would call a pandemic in itself, with the medical system, as far as side effects and just people having a way out in regards to alternative healing. But I'll let him explain.
Yeah, so when I met Jarnell, it was in 2016, I think, going to 2017 in Denver. And yeah, we met and got together kind of on a number of fronts, as friends. And he came to our health and wellness center, which we have one in Denver and one in San Diego. But
Mhm.
then we really started riffing about ideas for a children's story. And I've got a daughter and he's got a sister about the same age. They're both 10 years old now. And how important this message would be to get out to kids, that they've got to believe in themselves. They got to not be deterred by mistakes they may make. It should only really embolden you to try harder, that success is going to be that much closer to you. And especially do it through, where, Jarnell's experience had been through sports, because all kids, boys and girls nowadays play sports. When I was a kid, it was mostly boys that were in community leagues. So we really became fast friends and started developing the idea for the story, and that's kind of the impetus of it all.
That's awesome. I agree. Confidence is something that's lacking, but it's so important. Um, and so I know I personally didn't play a whole lot of sports, but my brothers did, like you were saying, a lot of more boys do sometimes. But it's nice to see the confidence side of sports highlighted rather than the competitive side, which is what a lot of, I mean, I feel like a lot of people emphasize that. So it was nice to see something that was confidence based and inclusive in that way.
That's so true. And I could, really stand for that one, because I feel like a lot of the tools that I was using in the NBA, or to get to the NBA, to manage, off the court, are similar things that kids could take from the book. And to be honest, I think a lot of athletes take the game of basketball, take sports a bit too serious, especially the ones who aren't pros, because now we understand that it's extremely difficult. I mean, like, I grew up in a situation where I was somewhat uh, just I had this dire passion to get to the NBA, or my life was over. And
Mm.
you can imagine how I lived off the court. I was depressed. I miss a shot, it's the end of the world. And then, I grew up, and I had totally forgot that I grew up somewhat like Louisa. which is our main character of Wings to Fly, she literally was, picked last. She's, somewhat, bullied through the story, and, verbally, of course. And she needed a guardian angel, someone to teach her that, it's bigger than just sports. You can use this mindset and skill set to really help and build a lot of great things. And that just really resonated with me more than anything. The part with Louisa, although Jarnac is somewhat based on myself, just somewhat, but the part with Louisa and how she struggled as a child, I think a lot of kids are dealing with something a bit deeper than just missing a game or not making it to the NBA. It's a part of something within that we're trying to, it's like, what are we trying to tell with Wings to Fly? Then what are we really trying to tell? And that part is obvious when you see that Louisa. I don't want to tell the ending, so yeah.
We want to keep that for the readers. But just to add to that, Jarnell was such a huge inspiration for this story because he has so much humility. He's very grounded, as a professional athlete, which you don't always see. I mean, just his experience, for one, he's been on 3 NBA teams, well, 4 if you count any summer league play, and the Chinese Professional Basketball League. Just as an aside, that's how I first found out about the pandemic from Jarnell. He was in China when everything broke loose, and he called me and he said, I'm about to take the last flight out of here to get back to the US, and the league had shut down. So I was like, oh yeah, heard something about it on the news.
Wow.
And that was, 1 year ago. Yeah. So really just being inspired from Jarnell's story and, how hard he struggled. And the idea of the higher power in our book, which you see the Jarnac character as a guardian angel to this young girl, that could be anybody in a kid's life. That guardian angel could represent your parents, your teacher, your higher power, and so any kid could really relate to it and draw from it to make their own experience in life better.